Mayo was a great athlete. But, Mayo was one of these guys that everybody liked. And my first, recollection going back to 2002 was that it was a lot of fun. Football mattered. It meant a lot to him.
Football taught us a lot about life. You lose some games, everybody's on you, everybody's talking about you. Then you win some games, you the best thing since sliced bread, So you got to learn how to deal with the different emotions of winning, losing, and just how do you stay here? How do you keep everything even keel and not get too high and not get too low?
For me, it had been a long life dream to play in the NFL. It was a dream turned into a nightmare as my football career came to an abrupt end because of an ACL injury.
And I remember him on the field just hollering, you ain't a Cadillac, you a Pinto. You're a Pinto, just that competitive juice he have.
He's the type of person that if he makes his mind up to do something, there's no in between with him. It's all 100%, whether it's good or bad.
Following graduation, the dream was to play in the NFL alongside my former teammates from Auburn University.
We so used to hanging around Mayo, but then there were certain times you couldn't hang around him because you knew the crowd that he was running with. And I'm just like, Mayo, this is not the life for you. There's better for you. This is not you. You know what I'm saying? You're not the person to sell drugs. You come from a good family. You come from a great upbringing. You don't have to do this. We was in the NFL making millions of dollars. And here he is feeling like, I can make $400,000 or $500,000 in 2 to 3 months by, making big drug sales and not understanding, it's a danger that comes with that. It's almost like he was trying to use that to fill a void, to feel like, okay, I got something too.
As my NFL career was falling apart, my former teammates had become multimillionaires. In an attempt to keep up with their lifestyles and income, I decided to start to sell drugs in the city of Atlanta. In Atlanta, all my dreams turned into a nightmare.
It was just the world that he was caught up in, and it was just spiraling.
So many emotions came through. He's like my brother. And so for him to make that decision, it was tough.
Unfortunately, he had to go through those troubles, but then the story behind it is he's still here. He could have been gone.
In 2008, I was arrested and sentenced 50 months in a federal prison for distribution of cocaine. Prison was very segregated. White people didn't talk to black people. Black people didn't hang with white people. But this guy, Howard, he broke through the racial barriers. Although he was white, he came and gave me the best news I ever heard in my life, that Jesus Christ loved me and he had forgiven me. Before Christ, to be honest, I had no plans on doing anything right. I planned on going back to Atlanta and selling drugs and doing it better. Months before my release and through mentorship, God radically changed my life completely. I no longer wanted to sell drugs. I no longer wanted to drink. I no longer wanted to engage in the things I used to. But instead, I wanted to spend the rest of my life serving Him and telling the world about His forgiveness and His unconditional love. It was in Atlanta where I met my wife, Kai. It was around that time that I started to get serious with Kai and tell her what I wanted to do the rest of my life. With 10 months left on a 5-year sentence, I decided to follow Jesus. Through the help of an influential leader who played a pivotal role in my life inside of prison. It was close friends like Ronnie Brown, Jason Campbell, Carnell Williams, Carlos Rogers, Charles Woodson. They was with me through my darkest times, the lowest moments of my life, and it made all the difference.
The leadership qualities that I saw 20 years ago, I certainly see now.
I actually can remember telling Ronnie and Carlos, all guys, I said, man, if Mayo was to ever get on the Lord's side, imagine how many lives he can bring to Christ.
When I was released, I decided to live with my parents, and I was given an ankle monitor for probation, which allowed me to only go to work and church. However, church, I can only go within a 5-mile radius from my parents' home. The only church that popped up within the 5-mile radius was Church of the Highlands. I didn't know anything about Church of the Highlands, never heard of Church of the Highlands, but Kai and I, along with my parents, decided to go to the Sunday service. After attending the Sunday service, we decided to make Church of the Highlands our home and wanted to become members. It was while attending membership class that we met Pastor Chris Hodges, the senior pastor of Church of the Highlands. That day, he told my wife and I that God had placed a call on our lives. And it was at that same day, my wife and I had asked Pastor Chris to be our spiritual father. My wife and I started pursuing the call of God that had been placed on our lives that Pastor Chris confirmed. After some time passed, my wife and I got the privilege to plant the West Birmingham campus alongside some great people from the community. In addition to that, I was selected to be the executive student pastor of Church of the Highlands over high school, middle school, and college, and we was having the time of our life. Kai and I could never imagine doing ministry anywhere else outside of Highlands, but God had a second plan. God placed in our heart the beautiful people of Atlanta, the friends of Atlanta, the people we knew that once seen us die, that once seen us lost. Now in our spiritual journey, we have decided to go back to Atlanta to plant a church called LIIV Atlanta. Our prayer is that the people of Atlanta can experience a church from Atlanta for Atlanta. A church where people know God, find freedom, discover purpose, and make a difference. A church that loves people despite their deficits, that demonstrates integrity because people matter, that leverages all influence to advance others, and a church that experiences the victory of Jesus Christ. This is LIIV Atlanta.